Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Plug you in, my tuning up frequency. Jett and the crew, they got the remedy. Discussing bats and all his legacy. Mike is Alex. Welcome to the social hour. We're talking gospel, flying power. Look in the field, the protest got the keys to the Batmobile. Lights go down the shelter about to start. Jett's wisdom sucking like a dog. We're down the ways of hard. We're in deep, not sleep. Welcome to the social hour. Exploring Gotham's darkest hours. Tune in, feel the charge. Jett's at the helm with going large.
Welcome to the Social Hour, a Batman on Film podcast, batman-on-film.com. This is episode number 190 of the Social Hour. I'm the founder of BOF, Batman on Film, Bill Ramey. That's right. Ron Lauer returns to the show. Ryan, senior BF contributor. What's been going on? That's right.
I haven't got to do that in a while. Let ride.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Pete and I on my podcast anytime we can that genuinely pops up, stains. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And it has, Bill. Our schedules have not aligned, but here we are.
Yeah,
We'll just say it's a gift.
You got that thing, you got to do, what's it called? It's called work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm sure many can always relate to the same thing of as you go towards the end of the year, it is, you have a lot of stuff that you're trying to basically get 3 weeks worth of stuff done in a week, and then that extends.
Sure.
But it's about to calm down and then be a nice way to take out the rest of the year. How about you? You've been slammed with work.
I have been. It's been crazy.
A Dallas Cowboy fan has to travel
Went to
halfway
Charlotte.
across the country.
Went to Charlotte, North Carolina to meet my friend who I grew up with down in, shout out to Groves, Texas, down in Southeast Texas, stone's throw from Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. Yeah, we met up. He lives in South Carolina. So he's been out there for almost 30 years. He's a doctor. And we met in Charlotte, went to the game Sunday and had a good time. Nice city. Got back Monday.
He's a doctor, you say?
He is.
So he repaired the Cowboys.
Yeah, apparently.
They could perform on Sunday.
Apparently, yeah.
Good for him.
So yeah, I had a good time, and then it took me, like I said, I was telling you before we started recording, took me a day or two to get over. So yeah, like you said, I must have been one hell of a time. Yeah, we had a good time.
Good.
So I was telling Pete, I think I've talked to you about this. This time of year and just in general, just when you think there's like nothing really to talk about when it comes to Batman on Film, something always comes up, it seems, Yeah. And that's
something legit.
Yeah.
Because of course you and I could come up with freak out paranoia.
Yeah.
BS.
Absolutely. Yeah.
At the snap of
absolutely.
a finger.
Yeah. So I probably went. I may go on a tangent on that when we get to that this particular topic. So just buckle in.
Okay.
Buckle in. Get in the sidecar and buckle up. Got to kick Pete's ass out of there, but
he's got too much Pudan in his pockets. It's just weighing him down.
All right, we'll get rolling here. You finally saw Joker. FOLIE.
Yes, I did.
And
I think it's documented that I think I had an optimistic intrigue about it, and you and I have mentioned it on the social hours in the past.
Yeah,
I said I was going to see it in the theater. I had a small window on opening day. It didn't happen, and then I started to realize that maybe I wasn't as excited to see this as I thought, because I'll see movies to hell with what reviews say. If there's movies that I want to see, I'm going to see them. I don't care what the reviews are. And I thought that's what I would be with this one, but apparently like, the negative reaction to it took away any little bit of, wind in my sails for it. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just wait till streaming. And then I saw that it bombed and said, "Oh, it's going to be on Max pretty soon, probably." And
Yeah.
sure enough, it finally just dropped on Max, and I watched it. Um, I texted you and Bree because you just asked, real quick, well, what'd you think? And I said, I think my grade would be somewhere like a C, C minus.
Yeah.
Um,
That's fair.
I think it looked like it did the first one, and that it was shot really, really well. I think the look of it
Yeah,
was
I
really
agree.
well done. I uh, adored might be too, uh, you know, too much to say with the score, but I actually really did. And I'm not one of the cinephiles, Bill. It's just like, well, the cinematography and the
Yeah.
score. No, it's
Yeah.
just like I really, really liked the music in the first one. I Nothing stands out to me with the music for the second one, and that's not to say that the Oscar-winning composer of the first one didn't work hard on this one. It's just nothing really stood out, and I just kind of felt at the end that the movie just felt kind of empty and meandered to me. Um, I was waiting for a moment because I'd seen enough reactions of people. I was waiting for, you know, Arthur Fleck to like, I don't know, crucify a dog or something. Cause I'm like, where's this big moment that, Todd Phillips just took a dump on fandom and all that. And it was like, that didn't happen. But the movie in the end just kind of felt like, eh. And it chose a lane that you and I said way back when it was announced. We said it informs your decision on the first one by having
Mm-hmm.
a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
First one ends. You and I have said it tons of times on here. Uh, did it happen or did he just make it up in his head? You get to
Mm-hmm.
decide.
Yeah.
A sequel picks a lane,
Yeah.
and they did pick a lane, and I wasn't against that. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's see where it goes. But it just, in the end, it just felt, not trying to be, too harsh on it or anything. It just kind of felt hollow to me in the end. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to say we didn't need this because your longtime friend Lee Bermeo, I heard him a long time ago say that he doesn't like hearing that from people of like, do we need this? We don't need this. Because if we said that, the answer would always be no, and then we would never get something new.
Yeah.
So I I'm glad that they took a shot again. Um, I feel like this is going to have some repercussions in the sense of like not taking a chance on a different kind of movie again because this one
Mm-hmm.
tanked so heavily and was broadcasted everywhere of how bad it was tanking
Yeah.
that will get I think movie studios hesitant to take some risks on a bigger scale.
I
That was a lot, sorry.
no, 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 no. I agree with just about everything you said. I for me personally, it took a lot away from the
Yeah.
first movie. Because what I thought was great about that film was how ambiguous it was
Yeah.
and was so much open to interpretation. And as you said, they took a lane and it was pretty clear that not much was in, there just a few things were I mean, maybe, the Zazie Beetz character,
Mhm.
the imaginary girlfriend was just about probably about it when it comes to comes to what was Arthur's, what was his delusions and what was in his head.
Yeah.
And so I, I don't want to say it ruined the movie for me, but it certainly took a lot of weight
Yeah.
took a lot of that film away from me, which, um, maybe if I had never saw Joker 2, it wouldn't have mattered because I would still follow back, fall back
Well,
on the
it's
original.
it's because it's almost like a movie that you like. If somebody tells you something about that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it drives you nuts they even said it because you think that they're wrong. It's almost like they've inceptioned you that now that's going to be on your brain whenever you watch that movie because you'll be like, I can't believe Dave said that about this part. It's like
Yeah.
you're still thinking about that moment every time you watch the movie. Well, now with Joker, if you ever watch that again, even though if you don't ever watch the sequel ever again, you know
Mhm.
where it went after the
Yeah.
movie. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's just going to be on your mind when it ends, even if you're like, oh, it's such a good movie. It might be like, and then they went ahead and made a sequel. So it's like it's almost like a little inceptioning of bruising the first one a little bit.
I will say I won't. I agree with Lee there a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I applaud, and Batman on film, and me personally, I champion things that are different when it comes
Hmm.
in this genre. Even if I ultimately don't like it,
Yeah.
I still I would still rather taking chances and do things different and
Yeah.
not be so cookie cutter and whatnot. And, for lack of a better term, MCU stuff up and I'm not trying to shit on the MCU as the people who love it and was a huge success, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So my main fear is still, that's been tempered a little bit with some of the things James Gunn has said recently, but that they won't. This will do it for Elseworlds films. They won't take a chance on stuff,
Yeah.
and maybe it will. I mean, James Gunn has said here recently that he still wants to do the Elseworld movies, and he wants DC movies in all genres, and from family fare to R rated. But we'll see. You know,
Yeah. In
uh,
a positive way, that first one overperformed so
yeah.
much that if you take the quote Joker franchise, it's still way ahead
Hmm.
due to the first one
Yeah.
overperforming. So it's like there's the optimistic spin. There's two Joker movies together. They made like 1.2 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
Together, maybe they cost like 400 million
Yeah.
completely. So it's like they're still ahead. Just don't make any
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. And I think that's it. And going back, Lee says they'll say it shouldn't have happened. I think there are some films that really don't need a sequel.
Yeah.
I think this was one of them.
I mean, I'd have to go back and check the receipts. I think you and I were hesitant. We never said like,
Yeah.
awesome, I'm so excited. It was like, huh, I'm intrigued. How can you do a sequel? It
Yeah.
wasn't an instant jump on the bandwagon. So sometimes our gut instincts, I think are correct.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that turned out to be the case here. So we'll see what kind of long term effect this has when it comes to DC on film and DC Studios and Elseworlds and the
Yeah.
DCU and whatnot. Do you want to you got anything you want to comment on anything James Gunn has said recently? There was several, I mentioned it briefly just a moment ago about, wanting to have a wide open array of different projects at DC and
Uh, I
you know,
am I am the most ill-informed on the wider DC universe of all Team BOF. So I just feel like asking anybody else's opinion carries more weight than mine when it comes to that. When it comes to Batman World specifically, I think it's a little ironic that he has said we're not going to announce slash greenlight something until a script's in and done.
mm-hmm,
Seems universally everybody agrees with that. And then you don't hear about something, and then people start to get panicky
yeah,
and start to go nuts. Yet they're the ones that say, "Yeah, don't greenlight anything until a script is in and it's done."
well, and but they
And
are
it's
announcing stuff that doesn't have directors and
how much is an
yeah,
announcement as opposed to a trade hearing and running with it. I
yeah,
think that's another part too that people aren't understanding, that Warner Brothers isn't holding a press conference and saying, here comes this and this. It's a trade,
yeah.
sources,
That's a
trade
big
sources.
that's a
Warner
big
Brothers has
difference.
no
And I
comment. DC has
yeah
no comment. It's like, well, then that's not an announcement from
yeah I've
studio.
tried to
Somebody heard something.
I've tried to point that out on numerous occasions that people, I'm with you. I stop announcing stuff that may not happen.
An announcement is at San Diego Comic-Con that we all know, the
Yeah,
infamous year that they announced, 57 projects and four
yeah,
actually happened. That's an announcement that's like, yeah, you
yeah,
shouldn't do that again. But
yeah,
I think people need to take a breath and understand the difference between an announcement and sources has told
yeah,
this trade and they
yeah.
and WBDC
Absolutely.
has
Yeah,
no comment. There's
yeah.
a difference
There
between
is
that.
a bit. Yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference.
Now, to go specifically more to your question, um, I think he's backing up what he's saying by he confirmed. I'll take that as an announcement. James Gunn confirmed the puppet dynamic duo movie's happening.
Hmm.
Okay. Really hard for me to see that that's going to be like a Team America rated R movie. I
Hmm.
think that's going to be friendly, like family friendly affair.
Yeah,
And then what I'm sure we're going to talk about is Clayface movie.
yeah,
He confirmed. So there's two things. And I think Clayface, my money, I'm not a betting man. I'd put money on the Clayface movie is going to be a little bit more mature than the Puppet Robin movie.
yeah,
Two different DC projects, two different mature levels. Okay. Just sticking with Batman. Seems like that okay, that fits to what he said on we're gonna have a little bit of a wide, you know, what do you
yeah,
want to call it? Wide reaching, pretty open projects
yeah.
coming.
He mentioned, that part about R-rated and horror and different genres and family friendly and this and that. Also said, we're not really going to. He said this without actually verbally saying this phrase. We're not going to go the route of the MCU and have this. Everything builds up to a big team up event. Open. There's all this overarching story that's not what they're doing. Again, I'm in. Okay, that sounds good. It makes me a little bit more optimistic. But yeah, let's I'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah. And that's
Because
what nobody has patience to wait and see
yeah,
either.
performance, especially with Superman coming 6 months, huh? 7 months from that. When is it? June? Is it June? It's July, right?
July 11th.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 7 months from now, half a year, a little bit over. We'll see. Superman doesn't do well, then they panic and well, we've seen it before. Let's get this. Let's get a big team up thing going like tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I mentioned it with Pete. I was a little bit more optimistic that I could maybe find some stuff in this DCU that I like, because I am not. I thought it
Oh
was,
yeah, the Crazy
you
Quilt
know,
movie.
yeah,
You'll be
waiting for
there on
that
that
one.
one.
Yeah,
That's coming.
for sure. But
Listen,
yeah,
if anybody, James Gunn would include Crazy Quilt.
yes.
Like
In all
absolutely.
seriousness, and
Yeah,
being serious, I mean, Crazy Quilt could have been in the Suicide Squad
could have.
and perfectly
Absolutely.
worked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could have fit in
Um,
for Polka Dot Man, I think, in a way.
yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because I said at the time, I said, you have Polka Dot Man in a movie and it worked.
Yeah.
You could have Crazy Quilt.
Crazy Quilt's coming.
So we'll see where all this pans out. He didn't, he just said, there was a lot of debate, speculation, where this Clayface would fall, this Clayface movie.
Yeah.
Would it be an Elseworlds movie, a standalone? It's just a standalone Clayface Elseworlds movie. Would it be part of the Batman saga, the Batman epic crime saga, whatever in the hell you want to call it? Would it be DCU? I don't know. I want to say it's not funny, but Matt Reeves and his Six and Idaho production company is producing Clayface. So then that raised an eyebrow. When James Gunn announced it on social media, he said he called it a DCU film.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like it's going to be a DCU film. So that makes me believe it's going to be more probably shapeshifter, a little bit more fantastical, and not the
Which is
Basil
what I
Karlo.
knew.
Yeah.
I knew before because, in growing up, excuse me, in growing up, comics were not as accessible as they are now. So I didn't know about the Basil Karlo version for a long time. What I knew was shape-shifting Clayface. To me, that's what Clayface was. So I don't fitting for Matt Reeves, I that world, the original version of Clayface makes the most sense to me completely. My preference is probably that route as of right now because I'm more of a grounded just overall.
Yeah.
Even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I like it when they're in New York City and it's grounded fighting ninjas. Um, that makes more sense to me. I'm not off put by the fact of, oh, it's going to be the one that I grew up knowing. It's like, okay, that makes more sense in the DCU. What I think got me, full disclosure, and not enough people understand this, Bill. I've been watching movies for years. That does not mean I know how one is created.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not me now having some sort of panic or anything. It's just like, oh, okay, huh. Let's see let's wait and see. When it was announced that, or not announced, it wasn't announced. I forget where it came out about its release date. And
Mm-hmm.
less than a month before the Batman Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
That has me intrigued. Not panicked. I'm not some fan that's like, oh my gosh, the Batman Part 2 is going to be pushed back. None of that. It's just, it's interesting if that's true. Less than a month. So, I mean, would that be 3? Yeah, 3 weeks before
3
the
weeks.
Batman Part 2, they're going to release a DC movie, unless that's going straight to streaming, which is a whole different conversation, whole different ballgame.
It's
But
theatrical.
if it's theatrical and 3 weeks before the Batman Part 2, and they're apparently not connected, that's the only thing that to me has me like scratching my head a little bit.
I would say that I doubt if there's anything Batman, I'm doing air quotes, in this film other than using the Clayface character. And I'm intrigued. I like Mike Flanagan, who's not going to direct because he's busy as hell, but he did write the screenplay. He is the one who pitched the idea, and he pitched it as a tragedy slash horror slash thriller. I see this more like an old New Line horror film, lower budget. Not mean it's a low budget, but you know what I mean. It's not this, huge production costing tons and tons of money. So I
Could you almost see what pops in my head is like, and this is a stretch here, but almost like when that first Blade movie came out, that for those who didn't know, it said Marvel and it flashed at the beginning, but then outside of that, you'd have never guessed of like, oh, where's Daredevil?
Yeah.
Where's Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Where's the Avengers? It's like, it's superhero in name in a sense, but otherwise you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like Clayface could kind of be that. You see that DC Studios logo at the beginning, and then otherwise
because
you have no idea.
The mainstream audience, I'm willing to bet, overall has no clue who Clayface even is, or even if Clayface is a Batman character.
Yeah.
So
I think that's interesting, and like, yeah, for sure. If you're kind of cutting, in which then you'll have the normal dork reaction, like, how can you have Clayface, but you can't have Batman?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think that that's an interesting approach where you basically cut any connective tissue. It's still the same studio release within 3 weeks of each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unheard of, but you're a little competing with yourself. However, it's not like it would be some massive blockbuster competing with a massive blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. And this goes back to what, we just said, a few minutes ago about, do we really need this or blah, blah, blah. This is a credible writer slash director who
Mm-hmm.
is passionate about this idea and pitched this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I totally like what you said earlier. I agree with that of like he's credible. Mike Flanagan is credible.
Mm-hmm.
He's done some good stuff and he has this original idea, with an asterisk next to it. But like he has this idea and did this pitch and it sounded good and they're moving forward with it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like great. There shouldn't be any kind of barriers preventing creators doing this.
Mm-hmm. That goes back to what I've said with, always my trepidation, being apprehensive toward a shared universe is that there's
Can't do
like
this.
top-notch directors who
Mhm.
want no part of that. They want no part on the limitation. So if DC is basically, if Gunn is saying, well, there's a shared universe, but it's not going to be overt where we want filmmakers to have creative control. Okay, that's what there you go. That makes me optimistic. So we'll see with this Clayface. I'm not concerned that you have a Batman related movie 3 week, two Batman.
You're not.
I mean,
Yeah.
straight up Batman movie, the Batman Part 2, and then using a DC Batman character in a film 3 weeks prior, because I think the whole thing with this is going to be, it's going to come off to the general audience like it's like a horror movie.
So
You know?
maybe.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I also love horror. So cool.
Yeah, think about some of the stuff that New Line did, like the Conjuring series and other stuff under when Hamada was at New Line and James Wan and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, and here this brings up the thing, and also with the dynamic duo, puppet / animation. I mean, it's supposed to be some really cutting edge technology that we're going to see in this movie. But Matt Reeves is producing both of those, and neither one of them are part of the Batman saga. So it makes me believe it more cements my belief that if it's Batman at Warner Brothers / DC Studios, Matt Reeves will have something to do with it.
He's the papa.
Let's pause the BOF Social Hour for just a moment for these words from our sponsors. And here's the question for the latest Batman on Film giveaway. Who was the actor who was the runner-up to Adam West to play Batman in the 60s TV series? He later went on to co-star on a CBS variety show in the 70s, as well as star in a comic book-based TV series. Email your answer to me at jet@batman-on-film.com. Good luck. I mean, am I
He's
off
the
base?
Godfather.
I know I'm assuming here, but I got there's some pretty strong evidence because look, think about the most recent Batman stuff that's came out from them. Cape Crusader, Matt Reeves was executive producer of it. The Penguin, of course, that's part of the Batman saga. Matt Reeves was executive producer of it and had some creative input. by a lot, actually. Then you have the Batman Part 2 coming, which he's writing, producing, and directing. And then you've got Clayface and Dynamic Duo. Have nothing to do with the Batman saga. They are Batman related, and he is a straight up producer with his production company producing as well. So,
Full disclosure,
your
he
thoughts?
had nothing
Yeah,
to do with Merry Little Batman.
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
let's get that one out there. Yes, we understand. He didn't have anything to do with it. What a charming little movie that is. Anyways,
Yes.
no, I'm with you. It's funny that you see a pattern here of something that is Batman related. Matt Reeves is slapped on it.
Mm-hmm.
Read, what is it? Read the tea leaves, read between the lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever phrase you want to use. There's consistency here. I mean, as far as what he's pretty actively involved in, he's 2 for 2. I don't know how involved with Caped Crusader in a sense, because also J.J. Abrams has the same credit as Matt Reeves with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw nothing with Abrams commenting or anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a Tucker and Tim and Tucker production, it felt like, for Caped Crusader. So Reeves definitely he's shaping the clay of the Batman and the Penguin, and both of those were knockouts.
What's
Great. So
bringing up J.J. Abrams, he just had had the executive producer label. I never saw anything he said about Caped Crusader, but Reeves did press for it.
Yeah. So that's where it's like that one is like, well, but the two examples, what I'm saying of the other ones, it seems like now we know his hands were in it and shaping it. So it's like,
absolutely.
For me, then there's, he's 2 for 2.
Yeah.
So with that and how much that I liked both of them, to see his name is starting to get attached to all these other things has me like, cool, optimistic, obviously. Whereas if a Batman thing's announced, I'm never, this is gonna suck, and I throw my little temper tantrums or anything either, because it's like, oh, more Batman. It's just we got somebody that has proven himself twice now involved with this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Well, going back to Clayface and the time frame with Clayface and the Batman Part 2, I did look at the release schedule for 2026. There's probably 2 weekends, one in November and one in December, that could be open. I think one of them even says unannounced Warner Brothers film. They could slide the Batman Part 2 in there. I'm saying this. I doubt that it gets moved, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does. And I don't see it getting moved another year back to, October of 2027. So we'll see on that, but I don't think it's going to move. And speaking of the Batman, you just said, I'm professional. I'm almost a professional broadcaster here, Ryan. Almost set this segue up here. Oh, before we do that, what's your thoughts about the Batman Part 2 moving? Do you think it'll move, or you?
I'm going to stand firm on it's going to stay put. I don't like to give attention to dorks online.
Yeah.
Who overreacts. They know absolutely nothing, but because they're in sweatpants watching a movie at home, all of a sudden they could run a movie studio. Let's see, by October 2026, we'll be 4.5 years out from the Batman Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not counting Penguin. I'm saying like a movie sequel in itself. Be 4.5 years. To go beyond that, I think you're kind of gambling a little bit with returning audience. I think you've got a good high right now of the Penguin getting
Yeah.
the attention. I don't think you have more distance between that and the next thing, which is the Batman Part 2.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any reason to panic for anything at all. One, because it's a freaking movie, get a life. And two, like, we don't know how movies are made. Like, we don't. Everybody involved with the Batman Part 2 knows so much more than any of us do. So I think it's going to just stay put. And I know what you're about to like bring up, which I think kind of backs up that point
Yeah. Well,
or
we've
that
been
belief, whatever you
saying,
want to say.
I mean, Matt Reeves has said it. Andy Serkis has said it. Colin Farrell has said it. Anybody, when they are asked, Commissioner Gordon, having a mental lapse here.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright has said it, yeah, we're filming sometime early, mid next year. Well, now if you read the interwebs, Brian,
Be careful.
if you read the interwebs, and especially if you just read headlines, which for some reason people love to read a headline and then react to it.
Yeah.
With quite passion from a headline and then haven't even read the article.
Yeah.
You would think that the Batman Part 2 has been pushed back to 2037 or it's canceled. And that James Gunn, him and James Gunn and Reeves are having a civil war over there at Warner Brothers, and Gunn's trying to sabotage Reeves, and Reeves is pissed at James Gunn for meddling in his Batman stuff. Whatever. So
yeah.
UK Production News, which is a legit UK trade. You have to subscribe to it. It's for people in the film business in all facets. And they have a story in their magazine, and they posted a tweet. I'm still calling it Twitter. UK Production News says Matt Reeves to direct the Batman 2, a sequel to the Batman, filming in London, spring 2025. Get more details at our website. Well, there you go.
So do we panic now, or do we tweet out our panic?
I guess we can tweet out the panic.
Okay.
We could write a bullshit headline, some clickbait headline, but
a lot of avenues. So you're telling me the spring. I mean, let's go later spring. April, early May. Let's say it's filming let's say early May is when it starts filming.
And it could be the 1st of June.
Which would be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 months before it's set to be released in theaters.
Yes.
Weird. Do you remember back in 2007? It was a long time ago, Bill.
Yeah.
April of 2007, when Christopher Nolan and his team started filming The Dark Knight. Filming The Dark Knight, April 2007, to make a July 2008 release. Do my math, 12, 13, 14, 15 months.
Yeah, 15.
Was there any panic? No. Now, granted, there weren't as many people online, but we got a trailer that December. We got another trailer a couple months later. No, we got a teaser a couple months later. A couple months after it started filming. And then that winter, we got that first trailer. And then a few months after that, a second trailer. And then it came out as intended. So like, just looking at the timeline of this stuff is just like, yeah. It sounds like
if it's
revving to go. Because you
Yeah,
don't
I
know
mean,
the whole story, it causes panic for some reason. People need to know who's in it, how many pages is the script, how many of the pages of the script are completely locked in and sent to James
that's
Gunn.
another. Oh my God, that's another thing that just keeps going on about this script and the status of the script. You know, Matt Reeves said it's done. James Gunn said we haven't seen the completed script, and I think
Like picking
stop.
at words, just picking at words, which
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure was it a video with the Penguin or something that Reeves had said that he'd been sending like portions or chunks
yeah,
to. I don't know that he said James Gunn or DC or Warner Brothers, but he sent pieces.
yeah,
I'm sure it wasn't little like notes of like, hey, I clipped my toenails today. Here you go.
yeah,
It wasn't something like that. Had some
yeah,
boudin for lunch down in
yeah,
Texas. It was good. Um, it's pieces of the script and of the movie. Like I can't say that I'm not one that's just like, "Oh, I'm ready, a little antsy to hear, casting. I'm just very curious of like what
yeah,
characters you will
yeah,
always get casting updates on sequels because there's Reeves is going to expand his Gotham story, which is going to include like there's going to be I think at least two, probably three characters brought into this world of like maybe A and B level characters in the Batman mythos, you know. Like and by that I could be like Harvey Dent, Julie Madison. Okay, I don't like not as many people know Julie Madison as a
hmm
character. A wide range of people know who Harvey Dent is. Like
hmm
that's what I mean. Of like I think that kind of casting announcements are coming.
yeah,
And I'm a little antsy just to hear like, ooh, who's he bringing in?
yeah.
Villains or allies? Like who's he adding to the roster?
Like I've said many times. I said in the last social hour with Pete. I I think that this core cast that we met in the Batman
Hmm.
Part One
Yeah,
are going to be involved throughout the
yeah.
saga.
I'm excited for
Nashvin,
that.
Selena,
Hmm.
um,
Oz.
uncredited Oz, absolutely Oz, un what was it? Unknown, uncredited got Arkham inmate
Yeah.
Barry Keoghan, who will become the Joker at some point. I think and of course Batman Gordon,
Oh,
Alfred.
Batman's gonna be in these? Okay.
Um,
That's good.
Look, I think we see uh son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Mackenzie Bach again. He's in the Penguin. Uh, you know, uh just Bella Real, we
Yeah.
saw her briefly in the Penguin. And yeah, I mean, I I'm interested in that. But back to timeline, yeah, if let's say, it's not officially summer until what, 20th of June, 21st of June, something like that.
Yeah.
Even if it starts filming the 1st of June, you still got 19 months. Was that nine? No, no, not 19. That's sorry, that's Texas math. 16 months
Yeah.
to film.
Yeah.
And then there was all kind of, people having episodes about when Christopher Nolan's new movie's announced and Pattinson's a part of the cast. It's like, that's it. You know,
He's
Pattinson,
done. He's
he's
done.
going to work for Nolan because he's not going to be
Yeah.
filming the Batman, you didn't even think, like, I'm sure Chris Nolan was well aware of Robert Pattinson's schedule when it came to the Batman, and if he could fit in to his filming production schedule for his new movie, and the fact it's an ensemble, he's not one of the main characters. His role, he might not have, he's not going to be on set for 6 months. It could be less than a month of work for him. So, yeah, I don't think we need to be really concerned. We'll see. It, we'll see if it slides into November or December. I don't think it will again, but I mean, we've been hearing it's going to film early-ish to mid 2025 for a October 2026 release, and it 100% looks like that's the case. All right, 5, 4, 3.
That yeah, that backs up to show that people also don't understand movies, that there are actors that are in multiple movies a year.
Yeah.
It happens. And that's okay. And good for Pattinson. And then I think you've re-emphasized the point. He's not the lead of a Nolan movie. Of the Nolan movie. Hey, Oppenheimer was made in like 50 something days, shot in 50 something days. It's less than 2 months. If Pattinson was filming for 2 months with Nolan, that's 2 months. That's not
it
a whole
feels
year.
like starts in January, early next year.
So, you know, that's just like another thing too of like, shouldn't, like, this is nothing but a good thing, like, for him. He's working with Nolan again.
Yeah.
Working on a Christopher Nolan movie. Let's see, that's set for the summer of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be great to have Pattinson's face out there on a Nolan movie that's going to get a lot of attention?
Mm-hmm.
And then 3-4 months later, hey, you can see more of him. He's Batman.
Yeah.
That's great news. Like, that's good. That's like unintentional marketing, you know, in a way. So, like, yeah, that's awesome. Great. Which also, like, that's something that with Nolan by now, just seeing who gets added to his movie just is an exciting announcement anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I love everybody that he's just pulling for this movie. I have no idea what it's about, but I'll be there. Your friend, Christopher Nolan, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your pen pal, Christopher Nolan.
Pen pal. Yes. So yeah, I think relax.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't want to be like,
relax.
Sound like preaching. I'm not going to change the minds of anybody.
No.
But it's just like, I don't know. This is probably a point. If this was Pete would say something about talking about you, Kowalski. You know, he threw in Justin in there somewhere. And then Pete would call him right after and be like, Kowalski, you're getting crazy. Mine's not directed at Justin, maybe just a little bit. But no, I'm just thinking like a broader scheme of, or broader audience, whatever, of, because Bill, I navigate positivity looking for it, but even with that, you still hit potholes. Doesn't matter how well you know the road, potholes sneak up on you of people saying crazy things and stupid things.
You think?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay. We're gonna wrap this up, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because I don't think I had a chance. What was your overall take of the Penguin?
Oh, disappointing, you know. Oh, this isn't Backwards Day. Okay, never mind. No, I loved it. Loved it. Period. Awards, I've started to care much less about award shows. Not to sound like one of those people, but I've just realized like I've seen less of stuff that's nominated anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I start to like, you know, kind of I don't follow as well, but I did see it was Golden Globes, right?
Yeah.
That Farrell and Milioti were nominated, and I think rightfully so, for sure. And then the series, I think, was nominated for miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, rightfully so. So you know, that's where my attention will go with Golden Globes, of hoping that they win for their performances, because she can, you know, she's been acting for a long. Farrell, we've seen him, you know, do some really good things for quite a while. He's been on the radar for quite a while. She's been acting for quite a while, and this really put her in that next level, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us that expected, not that we were expecting anything, you know, bad, but I don't know that we expected her to be that good
mm-hmm.
in the role, and really was. And so I think you take out a key ingredient of the Penguin overall. It brings down the show. So it's like you don't have Farrell doing what he's doing. You don't have her doing what she's doing. The Penguin's not what it became.
Mhm.
So I thought, yeah, it was really good.
What was the biggest, oh shit, I didn't see that coming moment of the series for you?
Probably Alberto,
Yeah.
which is hilarious because it's right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, Victor's, it was in my mind of him going out, just did not know when or how. But if I had to place a wager, I would have bet money that he was going to bite it. I just didn't know how, whether it was by Oz or not. And none of that. I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, I knew it all along. I just kind of could have, I could have placed that so that maybe that wasn't as shocking. But what about you?
Alberto.
Yeah.
And I still say Victor, the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of thought, like you said, that Victor was going to get it, was going to bite the dust somehow. I didn't expect it the way that happened, where they won, and Oz takes it. He said, "I can't take you with me this time, kid."
Yeah.
And chokes him to death while he's telling him how good he was to Oz, and how
And though he
kid.
didn't, it was like he then like pissed on his body by grabbing his wallet, robbing him, and throwing his ID in the river. It's like nowhere near as close as killing. It's just insult to injury and disrespect after all of this. And then he robs him and tosses his shit in the river. It's like,
I will also throw in,
that's cold.
Him letting his brothers drown.
Yeah.
They look, I got a whole, I did a whole series. Each episode went through and talked about it, but they made it to where you kind of were on Oz's side, and you kind of liked him, but by the end you're going, I can't wait for Batman to get his fucking hands on that son of a bitch.
And Bach will be right there and be like, I told you, you son of a bitch. He's gonna get you. But yeah, the brothers, it was just like, oh, I didn't have an attachment to them.
No.
Alberto, just like, and I can't help but say it, like I've told you, the Long Halloween animated movie, the way that it's Alberto, that's just kind of how I say Alberto all the time now. There's a history with him, like there's a history with Sophia. They're in Long Halloween and Dark Victory. I don't know if you know this, Bill. Long Halloween's my favorite Batman story of all time.
I heard that.
So I just thought like, oh, he'll have like that'll be a fun dynamic of brother sister, of who gets that's just what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And then for them to knock that out from under me from the get-go, like that just was the biggest like, oh shit, to me of anything that followed it.
Yeah. It was great. It was really damn good. And I think it ended perfectly
and it didn't do it for the factor of like, we shocked you. We got you. It's like, no, it's a genuine, it was part of the story. That was to get the,
that got the whole thing going. That was
pushing the big rock down the hill. That's what started it.
Absolutely. I like the ending where, he's dancing with, Eve Carlo. Yeah.
Eve Carlo? Is she going to be Clayface?
Maybe.
Her name's Carlo. Oh my gosh. It's all connected. Bill, it's all connected.
It is all connected.
All connected.
And, she tells him, yeah, you're at the top and nothing stands in your way now. And that signal.
Yeah. There's been some
But-
there were some good screen grabs, obviously, like instantly of that image.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a good image.
And you know what? I came close. I came close to
did.
my prediction of how,
I think you knew. I think you knew, Bill.
I thought we
were there on set.
My prediction was that he would be back in the old Carmine Falcone penthouse office, looking out that window that we've seen him look out, at the end of the Batman.
It ends where it begins.
Yeah, and then he's looking out, going on this city, and then bat signal comes on. But again, I'm just a fan. I know my lane. I let creatives create.
Did you know that originally that last shot, what they had, it's come out since then. It's zooming out, the bat signal shines on, and then really faintly in the back you hear "son of a bitch," and then they just thought like no, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Here, so they cut it. Yeah,
would have worked for me.
Maybe I can edit that somehow.
Yeah,
should redo that little part. You son of a bitch. So
last thought about the penguin, then we will wrap up. Do we see Sophia again in the saga?
Yeah. And maybe they already know how. Maybe they don't. They just left it open so that they can come back to her at some point. I said, okay, glad you brought that up, because I think what was really good about that, and it's no, let's go positive with it. Selena's name mention in that. Bill, it was there all along, and it never popped into my mind. We know from the comics, we know from the Batman universe, Selena is Carmine's daughter. Carmine also had another daughter. That would mean that they are related. The daughters are related.
Yes.
And never take away my fan card. I never thought about it.
I didn't either.
Never thought about it. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And then when Rush, who I didn't think he was a great, kind of. Maybe the actor, maybe just the role in itself. When he brought that in and he was saying, and I was like, okay, what's that gonna say? And then it said Selena, he said Selena. I was like, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Like, okay. That was there as soon as we knew that Sophia was going to be in the Penguin. Like, hey, Selena and Sophia are, stepsisters.
Yeah.
I never thought about it.
They're going to do like the next HBO
Thelma and Louise.
They're like Thelma and Louise.
Just in Gotham.
Selena and Sophia.
SNS.
Yeah.
I'd be like Cagney and Lacey. SNS.
I am curious to see if we see her again and where.
The show. No F's to give, like Falcone, because they both ditched the Falcone name. No F's to give with Selena and Sophia.
Yeah.
I like it. Come on, listen to us, Matt Reeves. We just pitched something to you.
Oh, I pitched
the
all
next
kind of
series
stuff to Matt Reeves on this.
Egghead would be the main villain in that series.
For sure. 100%. All right. That's going to do it. Anything you want to mention? That you got the Batman Book Club. I just posted. Yeah, you have a new episode, Christmas related. I posted that on Batman Film. I think I was in Charlotte when I did that.
Wow, look at you. He never turns it off. Wherever Bill is, he's working. Doing the time for BOF. Batman Book Club, my podcast. Bill has generously posted that on BOF. Have old Mr. Minnesota, the hot dish curator, Garrett Grev on there. We're talking 1944 Batman number 27, A Christmas Peril. Yeah. It's a good story too. Highly influenced by A Christmas Carol. Definitely worth tracking down to read that one. 'Tis the season. Gonna have another episode with that old Kowalski. Is the next one too, doubling up on the Christmas material this month. So that'll be coming soon. And then I have my Batman review, and then it's already on BOF. And then The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue number 4, comes out. It says Christmas, but it's going to be day after Christmas because comic shops aren't open on Christmas. And then I'll have that review up on BOF next week.
All right, there you go. I will have Absolute Batman #3 review up today.
All right.
Batman 89 Echoes. I think it's
Oh,
out
yeah,
today.
Okay.
I'm completely lost and I don't know what's going on in that
Don't
story.
remember too much. So I'm going to give it not benefit of the doubt. No. I'm going to give it a read through when all issues are available and see how that does. That one's disappointing to me. And then when I read Batman Resurrection, that novel, I was like, yeah, this is how you do this universe, I think.
Yeah.
What I expected for 89, Resurrection gave me. 89, like the 89 comic didn't do it for me.
I'm with you on that one. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the Batman Film Social Hour. Announcer Rachel will finish up here. We'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.